Welcome to Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, the ultimate resource for business leaders who need a boost in revenue and business growth. I'm your host, Kerry Curran. With over 20 years of marketing agency experience driving client business growth, I now run RBMA Revenue-Based Marketing Advisors, where we help businesses like yours effectively scale revenue growth. Visit revenuebasedmarketing.com or connect with me on LinkedIn. In this episode of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast titled Conquering the Retail Media Space, Strategies for Emerging and Established Brands, I sit down with Dave Glaza, CEO and founder of Digits, a specialized retail media agency. With years of experience helping brands navigate complex retail media landscapes, Dave shares actionable insights for both emerging brands breaking into major retailers like Target and established brands looking to maximize ROI across platforms, and offers a comprehensive look at the strategies that drive long-term success in today's fast-evolving retail media space. So welcome, David. Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background and area of expertise.
Great to meet you. Yeah, thank you for being here. So Dave Glaza, I am CEO and founder of Digits. We are a retail media agency within this space. So we specialize in everything retail media for brands and retailers and helping them either drive more business with their budgets or launch and operate their own platforms if you're a grocer out there as well.
Excellent. So tell us a bit more about Digits and kind of your area of expertise.
Yeah, we'll do. So Digits, we are a Minneapolis-based company. And so in a previous life, I worked at Target for 14 years. And so that really positioned, at least myself, as a merchant for about 10 of those years. So I ran some businesses for Target around sporting goods, around grocery, candy, and other different businesses. But really what got me into the digital side is I moved over to Target's social / early days Roundel team at that time. So Target was launching out a coupon app called Cartwheel. It had been sort of in development for about 6 months. And they're like, we need a merchant. We need a business person that speaks vendor languages and brand language to come over and help this thing work and make money. And so that was me. So I did that for about a year before it launched, was part of our kind of product team. And then I would say that beat everybody's expectations. Like we hit our 5-year plan in the first 6 months. And so
That's
really
amazing.
opened my eyes to the fact that you can show somebody an ad on their phone and then they come in and buy it, like maybe that same day or maybe the next day, or just like these were crazy concepts 12 years ago, I guess, kind of within the grocery world. But yeah, so that brought me into the early days of retail media. And I was ready to sort of be a little bit more entrepreneurial. So I left and founded Digits. And, really with the goal of helping brands sort of in the retail media space.
Mm-hmm. Great. And so you talked about kind of the Digits has a very niche area of expertise. You want to dive in a bit more deeply, kind of how you are such experts or what you're doing from that expert perspective.
Yeah. I mean, we were, again, founded in, I would say, knowledge really around Target and probably specifically around Target Cartwheel at the time. Mm-hmm. That was, again, one of my babies, if you will, at Target. And we'd have vendors come and say, well, how do we do better in this space? And can you help coach us? And they're spending millions of dollars. And the way my team was staffed is we didn't have time to coach them, but yet they didn't have staff to do it either. And so, there was definitely a market opportunity for a niche and deepness, deep expertise in the space. So that's what we set out to do is, how could we be the smartest people in town on Target, which at the time was a lot about Circle, Cartwheel, Roundel, paid search. So, that's where our expertise lied for about the first 4 years of the agency. I brought a lot of that expertise myself, but then also hired a lot of former Target people. So, being in Minneapolis, there's no shortage of smart Target merchants and Target Roundel folks that are, maybe ready for the next opportunity. And so that's how I staffed up my team to really make sure we stayed fresh and really deep experts in all things target retail media.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's a great area, niche area. And as we were talking earlier, it's that brands really need an opportunity that's not Amazon, right? So it really helps, to your point, give them that platform, that network where they can engage with people that want that brick and mortar and the target loyalists. So definitely see it makes so much sense to have that area of expertise to provide that for the brands.
Yeah, and most of them, most of the brands or even the agencies that they might hire, like a big holding company type agency, their target office maybe has 20 people in it, right? There's sales, there's finance, there's reporting, and then they'll have like one shopper marketing person or one retail media person. And I've often empathized with those folks. It's like they sometimes have budgets 5 million, 20 million bigger, and there's no way that they can stay up to speed on everything, right? Like it's literally one person, and the team they're part of, there's one person in each of those retailers across the country, and it's hard for them to be the end all be all on the best way to spend that money. And that's really, again, where a lot of times we fit in because they're looking for that outside counsel.
Yeah. No, that's great. So when the brands call you, first, who are your typical clients that you work with, the brands, and when they call you, what are they like? What are the challenges when they call you for the first time? What are the business challenges that they're coming to you with?
Yeah. So client base for us, well, the easy answer is people that sell a lot of products because they're the ones that typically have the biggest budgets and then want to hire people to make their budgets better. But a couple of the top food companies are clients, and so they sell a lot of food. Although others are baby business, essentials, which is in Target's term, like toilet paper and aluminum foil and that type of like grocery adjacent business. And then a little bit of beauty as well too. So a lot of like higher frequency type products that kind of come through. And what do they do? Well, lots of times we get the question of, hey, my CEO or my chief revenue officer heard Brian Cornell talking about like Roundel and heard him talking about Target Circle on their earnings call and how it's really working for them. And they call up the Target office and say, oh, how are we winning with Roundel or Target Circle? And sometimes their answer is, oh, we haven't run a circle offer all year, right? Wow. Like we're not winning with the Target Circle. And then they're like, oh yeah, I that one digits team tried to talk to us a while ago, right? And they seem to know about this platform. So let's find that email, or let's find them on LinkedIn and see what they can do for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're already investing in Target. They're in the Target Retail Media Network, but they're not seeing the returns or the engagement that they believe they could be.
It could be, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's, hey, we're putting a lot of money into Roundel and, we're just not getting the ROIs or the ROAS. Yeah. Maybe their metrics are behind their Walmart Connect numbers or they're behind their Kroger numbers and they're just not sure why. Yeah. And they're looking for outside ideas, right? And they're looking for maybe a different expert opinion. Because a lot of brands spend so much money with them, but it's hard to always get the best return, even though you're going to spend money because it's kind of part of your plans and you got to drive traffic, but it's in your best interest to do the best you can. So I'd say that's the first reason is they're already spending a lot of money and they just don't have it. 2 would be that I need to build a plan. My CEO that we're not doing anything on Circle and my CFO heard about it and is wondering why we're not.
Yeah.
And then the third, which is a little bit more rare, but is, hey, we're new into Target, right? Yeah. And so these are usually mid-size or smaller brands that are either brand new brands to the marketplace, or maybe they only play in, they're a Walmart brand or they're an Amazon brand that kind of came into Target, and they'll call us and say, we've been trying for 2 years to get into Target and we finally got 4 SKUs on the shelf, like in 400 doors. Like, I don't want to miss my opportunity, right? Like, what do we need to do? And that's where, we'll build them a plan and help them out, try to drive some business.
No, that's great to hear. I love that you work with the kind of emerging brands as well. So what are the aspects of the program that you specialize in? Like, where are the areas that you lean in and help them?
Yeah, I think, and I'll probably answer this one mostly with, I guess 2 parts. On the Roundel side, is, every retail media platform is a bit different. So what works on Roundel versus what works on Walmart Connect versus on
Right.
Kroger is all a little bit different. And so we bring a lot of best methods and data from across our brand network. So today, based on our client base, we represent or work with about 6 billion of annual sales, and so that's a lot of it's a lot of big CPGs. We have access to sort of what works and what doesn't, and we can build like frameworks and best methods. And if a new client isn't doing X and we're seeing it work other places, we have more abilities to help them win with that than others. The second thing I'd say we do, and this probably applies a lot to Circle, is we talk about the fact that sometimes you need a lot of small wins, like it's winning by like 1,000 cuts, if you want to think of it that way, because Target Circle or any personalized digital ecosystem, it's sort of, salespeople don't like them because you can't just have that one thing that drives $2 million of incremental sales. Like you don't see that huge spike on the trend line, where there's a huge week. But at the end of the year, if we can drive you 5 million of incremental volume, wouldn't you want that? Right. Yeah. But it might come, 1/52nd every week. Right. It is sort of the way to say it. And, so that's what we do. We set up a lot of personalized deals, a lot of segmented deals, a lot of smaller scale deals. And then we analyze the heck out of them to try to like showcase, back that they work back within our clients.
This episode of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, is brought to you by Kriglu. Want to boost customer acquisition while saving time and money? Meet Kriglu, an AI-powered omnichannel bid management platform designed to optimize your ad spend. Kriglu intelligently adjusts bids across channels, ensuring your ads reach the right audience at the lowest cost. Plus, with its automation, you'll free up valuable time to focus on your business. The result? Efficient, cost-effective growth, all while maximizing your marketing budget. Ready to scale smarter and faster? Visit Kriglu.com, Krigloo.com, and start saving today. And is that around like the deals that you're working on there, is the couponing strategy of like what the discount should be and what like the parameters should be kind of thing? Like how do you work with the brand to decide or even make them comfortable with leaning into coupon strategies?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think the approach is probably different by client in some ways. Some clients super deep, like they want to know everything, right? They're like, we'll have a 20-minute discussion of should it be 20% off or 25% off, right? And for us, it's just the data of like what's worked best in the past, either for them or for other similar type brands. Other clients, they embrace the idea of us really turning them into approvers, and I'd say that's how we market ourselves is. Let us know what your budget is. Let us know what your goals are on your brands. And our job is to spin the wheels, right, to kind of make this work. Because that whole like winning by 1,000 cuts philosophy does take a lot of work. And not everybody's willing to roll up their sleeves and do it. And so sometimes the sales teams, they just want to see the results. They're like, operate within these parameters. Like don't show up on anybody's radar for going 70% off, but go do your thing and drive us some business.
Yeah. And so is there, are they often looking to apply discounts to new products, or is it, when they're expanding a product line, or is it more deeper than that? Like we know these products drive trial versus repeat purchase kind of thing. Like, is there more there too?
I think this brands teams, this is where maybe we're a little bit different, or we're a little more, I guess, modern or new age, but like a lot of the brand teams only really want to have sales when it is a new product. Either a new product or a key season. So they think very, in our idea, pretty, black and white about like, when are you on sale and when you're not on sale. And we take a bit of a different approach where it's the right time for that shopper. So when a shopper lapses, they're going to turn to somebody else, right? So how do you give them a little bit of deal, and you're not on sale per se, but you are for those 50,000 shoppers, right? or somebody's bought the category, for the last year, but has never bought your product. So how are you on sale for them? Right. And so if you do it right, you're probably on sale 52 weeks a year, a bit,
Yeah.
with different people, different weeks, different time zones. And then you mix it all out at the end of the day to maybe the same budget of discounts you were going to give anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very piecemeal, right? Sort of across. And I'd say
Yeah.
that's a piece of the strategy that physical sales teams just haven't quite embraced yet, because they're so used to the big signs and the weekly flyers and
Mm-hmm.
those big pops of front covers versus more personalized digital type promotions.
Yeah. Well, and I love that you're really customizing it and that you have that level of data to customize it to the shopper. Cause I think to your point, like that makes it so much more than just a sales strategy, but a more of a loyalty, long-term relationship, lifetime value play as well. And so, yeah, I think that's really smart, and it's great that you can get that or provide that level of data to your clients and help them with that decision making.
Right. Yeah.
Great. Excellent. So you mentioned one of your other capabilities was to run kind of co-branded programmatic ads that are promoting Target, but purchasing your product, the client projects on Target. Tell us a bit more about that, because I think that's really, I'm not saying, I've worked with brands that used to dabble into that, but I haven't seen it as much lately. And I think it's such a smart strategy. So talk more
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, we do. So we buy programmatic offsite media for clients, or social. We actually do both, but I think we do more programmatic on mobile than anything else. And really, it's trying to drive traffic to the store. And so the way that we talk about it to clients, and especially if we're working with our Target clients or our Walmart clients or whatnot, is our job is to find people that are going to shop Target, let's say this Saturday, right? Like they like to come every 2 or 3 weeks, and they're already coming on Saturday, and they're probably going to shop the cereal aisle. So how do we get them to buy your product when they actually walk up to the cereal aisle instead of your competitors? And not every tactic happens at shelf, and not every tactic happens in the app. Right. And so we're really good at that local mobile activity. And we'll co-brand it. Target has a style guide. We'll co-brand it with their style guide, and we'll drive the traffic right to Target. So for a lot of brands, they spend most of this kind of money directly with a Roundel or with a Walmart Connect. But there's a piece of their budgets that either they want to talk to different people, or they want to talk on different platforms, or they just want to diversify their funds a little bit. And that's sort of where we come in to help them out do that.
No, I love that. So are you geofencing around or, targeting specific areas based on drive distance and region?
Yeah. And that's really helpful. I said before, sometimes we work with either emerging brands or even national brands that just want to slice and dice, the country. And so that's a bit of a differentiator for us is we'll run campaigns only in 50 doors or in 200 doors, where a lot of times with their big budgets, at the RMNs themselves, those are all big national type pops. And so it's kind of goes back to the same thing, with our target circle work is sometimes you got to be willing to do the smaller things that add up to something big, and not just, the big top down hammer.
Yeah, no, I love how you just keep talking about getting more and more customized and targeted to the audience, their behavior. And it sounds like such a winning strategy for the brands to be able to pinpoint and activate for different, like you said, lapsed buyers or category buyers. It just shows like the potential of getting smarter and smarter and how you're building that relationship with the audience. So I love that.
And a lot of the RMNs have started to make their data available, via feeds to the trade desk. So, at Target 3 years ago, you couldn't have necessarily done some of this. Like they didn't make their Roundel data available. But now they do, right? So if you have a budget to spend, you can either spend it directly to an RMN with a Roundel or Walmart Connect, or if you want to buy it yourself or through your agency, you can do it that way too. And I'd say most brands haven't moved to doing it themselves yet, or even doing it through their agency. They've kind of stayed in a comfortable position of letting the RMNs spend their money.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I don't know. I thought they announced this 3 years ago. It was going to be this big waterfall and everybody would want to spend their own money.
Yeah.
But it hasn't yet.
Yeah.
But it's picking up, and I think it'll keep going more that direction. People want their own keys to their product.
Well, definitely. You want to own the audience engagement, the relationship, to your point of being able to retarget or to build that lifetime value. But the retail media network costs, not only the network costs and the fees and the CPMs, but also the additional resources that the teams require to manage each one. So even though we're getting more data, I still see it as part of the overarching strategy, and not just to put all of your eggs into the retail media bucket, unless you can target and get very audience targeted like you are.
Yep.
So that sounds like a great solution. One last question for you. Can you talk about, like, for the brands that are just getting their SKUs into Target, like, what's your advice for them, or like what are the key kind of foundational steps they should take in expanding that?
Yeah, I mean, this probably sounds a little obvious, but the first key is to actually just do some marketing. Like, there's a lot of brands that they've been working for years to try to get on Target shelf, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's an amazing moment for them. They're posting pictures on LinkedIn, on Twitter, whatever. They're very excited. But then for some reason they have this expectation that they're just going to show up on shelf and, like, everybody's going to be like,
just fly.
oh, wow, I've been waiting for that, right? And like, the reality is most shoppers don't know who you are, right? Unless you're some sort of viral TikTok brand or something. I'm not sure, but so you got to put your money in to do it. Most of the time it's an investment that it doesn't pencil out always right away, because you're brand new and you have to sort of like pay to prime the pump. And hopefully you're a product that, gets repeat purchases, right? So
right.
So yeah, step one is do something, right? Like, have your budget. We always tell brands the first thing to do is paid search. So, both Walmart and Target, if you're a pizza brand and somebody Googles for pizza, you're going to be on page 3 or 4 the first day. So it seems pretty obvious, but a lot of brands aren't doing that right away.
And that's important too, just to get the algorithm to see the click through and the sale, like, not just to really kind of, like you said, prime the pump.
Yeah. And that helps you online. And then for in-store, we were talking about the offsite programmatic. I mean, that's sort of that's the best way we can get your brand, your pack shot, your colors, your message sort of in front of somebody relatively cheaply, before they ever walk down that aisle. So, hopefully they've already seen your product and have an idea. So when they're staring for the next new box of oatmeal that they want to buy, right, they're like, oh, I already saw that brand once. Like, let's give it a shot.
Right. No, that's a really valid point about the overarching strategy, right? You have to create awareness and demand for your brand. Just having it on the Target shelf isn't going to make it sell. And so to your point, like, making it part of that overarching strategy and just one of the touch points in the ecosystem for growing your audience base. So, no, that sounds so smart. And I definitely believe your brands are lucky to have you, Dave. So thank you. Any other points of advice or things you want to share with us today?
Well, the other thing too is, so for us, the regional side.
Right.
Yeah. So a different part of our business, and where we see this sort of going, is more the regional grocers. They read a lot of headlines around retail media, retail media growth, and they're like, "Wow, what's about it for us?" Right? Like, we're a 100-store chain that we've got maybe market dominance within like a certain town.
Yep.
And they'll talk to their brands. They're like, big brand X, like, why are you spending all your money with Walmart? Like, you're talking to my customers with a Walmart logo. Like, that's not cool, right? Like, how do you start to talk to them with my logo, right? And so big themes out of Grocery Shop and other conferences we go to are sort of that mid-market RMNs, your Hy-Vees, HEBs, Myers. They're working on rolling out a better job with RMNs a few years in, but they're catching up to the big players. And then we at Digits, we're focused on helping out what I call more regional grocers.
Right.
So we help the grocers that are probably like 10 billion or less in sort of annual volume, maybe 100 doors plus or minus, right in that space. How do we stitch out a network and do operations and sales to help them build retail media networks as well?
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And again, just shows you're getting more targeted with your audience and making sure they can find your products in the local stores as well. So that's brilliant. And to your point, it's definitely a growing area for both the retailers and the brands. So this is great. David, thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed learning about Digits and all of your different areas of expertise. It sounds like you're helping a lot of brands today. So thank you.
Awesome. Great to be here.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast. For more episodes and to learn how you can boost your revenue, go to revenuebasedmarketing.com. And be sure to subscribe to Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, so you don't miss more strategies for growing your business.